The general public does not know their names, however their contribution to Ukraine's fight is huge. Their support is appreciated both in the rear and at the front line. They are the ones who bring our victory over the enemy closer. They are the fellows of Ukraine. Hi, this is the Fellows of Ukraine project from U Donation. We want to tell about the people who have been helping Ukraine since the Russian invasion, despite being hundreds and thousands of kilometers away. We will tell their stories through the prism of Ukrainian realities. Our guest today is Kseniia Tymchenko, a Ukrainian volunteer from Canada who helps Ukrainians in Canada with the immigration process. Her Telegram channel, Ukrainians of Berry Work, already has nearly 500 subscribers. In this channel, she shares jobs with Ukrainian newcomers from Canadian employers. Hello Kseniia, is this your first charity or volunteering experience?
I started volunteering when it was 2011, I believe, or 10. I started with joining of ISEC, International Students Organization, that develops leadership and makes international trainership for young adults. I spent in this organization 1.5 years. When I started working, I really wanted to participate in something huge from volunteering perspective, and I joined one team in Ukraine. I believe their name is Alerom. They brought Nick Vujicic, a big motivational speaker, to Ukraine. So my idea was to go volunteer on that Olympic Stadium a little bit, and to hear his speech from the first hands. So I did that. And after that, I also participated in IT Forum volunteering team that was also organizational committee, who was responsible for how things are going into the one-day event. But the event is huge, and it was held in Kyiv on Metro Livoberezhna. There is a big expo complex there, and the whole complex was taken for this one event. So this is my volunteering experience before full-scale invasion of Russia in Ukraine last year. Also, I continued doing volunteering job when I escaped Ukraine, because that was the great way for me to cope with all the anxiety that I had, and also to help my people to get some goods or some information. I came to Canada, and I've done a big job to find what works for Ukrainians in this place in Canada. And I communicate with people a lot, and this is how I knew like 90% of information that I know. Also, I Googled a bit, so all my knowledge at the moment, I share it in the channel that I started here for Ukrainians that live in Barrie. I'm in Barrie, Ontario at the moment. And I share their job postings, job tips, how to find jobs, whom to talk, what agency to approach, and things like that. So in the county that like my city is in now, we have 500 people of Ukrainian newcomers approximately, and I do have in my chart 370 of them. So I pretty much covered all the Ukrainians that are in this region, and all of them participate in the channel that I created.
How often do people manage to find a job in their field, and what is the most challenging thing in your activity?
It's very hard to get the professional job straight away, like a first job in Canada, but it's not impossible. I know a couple of people here that came to Canada, and before they came here, they worked for Snapchat, for example, and they joined companies, and they work as a professionals there. So they get not the minimal wage, they get professional wage already from the very beginning. And I'm so proud that I know this kind of people. So it is possible also if you had IT experience. It is possible if you had something like plumbing experience, but in Canada almost all of the professions that we have in Ukraine, they have to have certification. So if you are a plumber in Ukraine and you can do like anything, here in Canada when you come here, you will need to have, you will must have a certificate from Canada, and only having this certificate you can go and search for clients. And here we come to another problem. When you go and search for the clients, what is your English level? Because Ukrainians that I see that come here at the moment, they have level of English that is 1, 2, maybe 3 out of 12 levels that exist. And okay, if he's a plumber and he's going somewhere to look for clients, how will he negotiate with them? So now I'm working basically to get as many cleaning jobs as I can, as many maybe babysitting jobs, just to give them entry-level jobs, so they can find survival one. But then they have to learn hard in English, and only then a professional job will be accessible to them. What I do is I connect employers, some of them that I know personally. I connect them to the list of people that are able to do the job that they want. For I would say that for women, it's basically cleaning. And for men, they can do plant work that sometimes require physical energy and ability to lift heavy weight.
Were you at home during the first news and explosions? And if so, please describe in more detail how and where you found information about the beginning of the full-scale war, and what exactly did you feel that day?
Because of my anxiety level, I have to take drugs that let me sleep in the night. So I slept perfectly like a baby that night. But I woke up at 7 a.m. when my mom got a call from her friend, and that friend said, "Hey, you know what? We are having a war here." And she said, "Ksenia, wake up, we are having a war." And I said, "No, mom, it's not war. It's just a war situation," or whatever it was called in the beginning of the invasion. But she said, "No, it's actual war." And I remember that animal fear when I realized what is she saying at the moment. And that was the scariest, I believe, one of the scariest minutes in my life. Because technically I haven't seen something bombed, but when I escaped Ukraine, I've heard that columns of Russian techniques is going near my windows where we slept on our way to Poland. We saw a lot of people were arrested because they were people that undermine work of Ukrainian government, and that was very scary.
How quick was the decision to go abroad, and why you choose Canada? Do you have relatives or close friends left in Ukraine, and what's the most difficult decision you have had to make?
Well, I just escaped war. I went to Poland. I love Polish people after that. They are my love of my life, for sure. I stayed with a beautiful woman whose name is Beata for 5 months in her beautiful house with her family. But I realized that I have only two ways at that moment. Or I will kind of immigrate to any country, or I will return back to Ukraine. And I knew that because of who I am, how I react to bad news, I cannot go back Ukraine because I will be a mess after that. After the first shock, I had this strange idea to go and figure out how to shoot, how to dig, how to make that Molotov cocktails. So I think I would get in trouble if I stayed in Ukraine. But my idea was to build um, the best possible life in that circumstances that I was in. I've heard that Canada is opening a special program for Ukrainians. I just applied in hope that maybe I will be selected, and that happened. Also, I applied my mom, half of my family, you know, half of my friends. All of them applied for this visa. Half of them already got this visa and get here. The most difficult decision for me was to leave my mom. The situation was this. The first day after I've heard the news that we are in war at the moment, we packed and we left from Dnipro to a little village in Cherkasy region, where my family is from. And the other day, after we spent there a night, there was a car of our relatives who decided to leave the country, and there was only one place available for anybody. So for me, it was hard to negotiate with my mom about that place. I said, "You go." She said, "You go." That was the hardest thing, I think, to make for the last, I believe, in my entire life, just to leave my mother in the country and just escape by myself. Um, but eventually everything went well. She is safe. My relatives are kind of safe, but still in Ukraine. So it was okay. The day my mom crossed Ukrainian-Polish border, I started smiling in Canada, and my Starbucks team, they were impressed by how my personality changed after that day.
Do you feel or maybe you felt guilty because of leaving your country? What helped you to overcome it?
I have never experienced guilt that I left the country, because I realized that that was the right thing for me to do. Some people can deal with stress, some people can't. I'm in that part that can deal with this kind of stress every day, so I choose to leave. But I have this feeling that I am not doing enough. You know, when you uh, well, when you donate, when you do whatever it takes for your family to get somewhere, for families around you to get somewhere, but then in the end of the day, you sit and think, oh, I could donate 10 hryvnias more, or I could speak to one more human. So here, I want, if anyone from Ukrainians are watching me right now, I want to tell you guys that your mental health is crucial for our victory. And if you have anxiety or hard feelings or guilt, or you sleep bad, please go to a proper doctor and get this help. It's okay to do that, I promise.
How did Canadians treat you? Are they tired of the war or news about the war? Have your new acquaintances from Canada who had not volunteered before you met also started helping Ukraine?
The thing is that they do not know much about the war. Well, they know about the war from the TV sources, and they often think that this war is about one stupid, angry person that started this war. But they are not aware of the context that we had with this country near us, about how many years, about how many language how many times Ukrainian language was forbidden, our culture, all our cultural guys who were shot in camps. So they don't know anything about that. And this is one of the things that I try to do here when I communicate with everyone who wants to listen to me, is that I'm saying that it's not the war of one guy, it's the war of the whole country against my country. So please, people, please, find a couple of other sources of information, and please consider other possibility. It will not be over when somebody will die in the bunker, right? It will be over only when Ukrainian nation will defeat our enemy.
Are there in Canada reliable English language sources of information, and which do you use for yourself?
I believe BBC is doing a great job in journalism, and this is one of my sources of the proper journalism that I read. So I would refer to BBC News. I do BBC Ukraine, but anyone can do BBC something, maybe Canada, I don't know, are they here? If we go with Ukrainian sources, I do also Громадське and BBC and Телебачення Toronto. Yeah, the three of them.
Did you have any language barrier problems, or did you immediately manage to overcome the language barrier?
I did have some language problems here, but I used to study English from the age I was 6 till 21 something. So it's better than average, I believe. But when I came here, my first host, his name is Rick, God bless you, man. He was a witness me talking in these kind of sentences like, you go there, take this one. So that was very strange, and I believe he has a very, and I spent that 2 months in his house, just sitting in the basement and sending my CVs. So he has, I believe, a very weird impression about me. And my job in Starbucks that I got after these 2 months of sitting in the basement, it helps me to communicate with people, and now I am okay with the English.
Do you track air alerts in Ukraine, and why do you do this?
No way. I can't take this level of anxiety. I already manage my anxiety level on the on that stage that I almost do not have to take any meds. But if I do that every day, I think I would become crazy.
What is your best memory of 2022? Perhaps there are exciting stories related to your activities? Have you met really interesting people?
There is a guy in IOF Center, the CEO of IOF Center, IOF, that is the retirement house for senior people in Canada. And he donated all the building for Ukrainian families. He was so nice to us, and he is still very nice to all the Ukrainian. And he was so awesome that he planned a special Christmas event for everybody, and he decorated. I believe his team and they decorated all of the surrounding buildings, and our building got a special decoration with the tree with all the lights in blue and yellow. And he placed also a snowman in front of our door, so our kids could go and play with that. And that was the full ceremony with hot chocolate, and that was a magic moment, that level of kindness in Canada to Ukrainians. Yeah.
What would you like to say to the guys and girls from the armed forces of Ukraine? Do you have friends there? Please tell me about them.
I have one ex-co-worker who is fighting at the moment, and I have My closest friend, her ex-husband, is in captivity at the moment, and we have no idea what happened to him since October. And my other close friend now that I met here, her husband is in captivity as well. He's missing at the moment, and I think this is the hardest part for them, to do not know what is happening, and to stay alive, to function, and to bring food every day for their homes. We love you, we rely on you, and let us know how we can help you. That's all.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more.